Hi, thanks for checking out my channel. My name is Shana and this is Jar of Fireflies. Here you'll find content all about my life as an Orthodox Jewish homeschooling mother of 3. And today, we're talking Rosh Hashanah. So, Rosh Hashanah ended last night. What is Rosh Hashanah, you ask? It is Jewish New Year. So let's bring out the party hats and the champagne and stay up till midnight and... Wait, no, that's not it? No, that's not it. So what do we do? What is Rosh Hashanah and what do Jews do on this holiday? And how did it look during the pandemic? Okay, so a little bit of background on Rosh Hashanah. We are celebrating not only really just the new year, but also the creation of the universe and the creation of Adam and Eve. Rosh Hashanah is a 2-day holiday, and this year it started on Friday night and ended last night on Sunday night. These 2 days are like Shabbat. Well, one of them was Shabbat, but no matter where they fall during the week, they are like Shabbat in the sense that we are not driving our cars, we are not talking on the phone, we are not searching the internet or turning on and off lights, things like that. Obviously, in the case of emergency, all bets are off and we are allowed to do anything. Just want to throw that caveat out there. Okay, so what are we doing on Rosh Hashanah? So to celebrate Rosh Hashanah, one of the things that we do is we have festive meals. We have a lunch and a dinner on both days of the holidays for 4 meals total. A festive meal consists of wine and bread and meat. So here for my family, we had fish on Friday night. We had short ribs for Saturday lunch. For Saturday night, we had chicken. And then for Sunday lunch, we had brisket. My husband does the cooking for the holidays. And yeah, it was delicious. And I didn't have to cook it. We also had wine at every meal and we had apple cake for dessert. I had also planned on some special breakfast foods that I made ahead of time and put in the freezer. I made a whole video on that, so be sure to check that out later if you missed that one. But I made some apple coffee cake and some morning glory muffins for our breakfast time. At our evening meals, before we dive into the actual meal of the fish or chicken or whatever it is that we have planned for that night, we eat an array of symbolic foods. Being Sephardi, we've got a large array of symbolic foods. And in years past, it's always been a treat for our Ashkenaz friends to come over and enjoy the meal with us and see how we do things differently than they do. This year, thank you pandemic, we did not have guests over for our evening meals. But honestly, at the ages of my kids right now, it wasn't such a bad thing to not have guests at the evening meals because my kids are tired and excited and they want to stay up and they get overtired. So you get the picture. It's not necessarily a good combo to throw guests into that also, because I can't be so sociable when I'm trying to deal with a toddler having a meltdown. But I digress. So, starting off, the most obvious thing is our round challah. Normally during the year, we're eating a longer loaf of challah. If you're not eating gluten-free challah, you probably have a braided challah. My gluten-free challah, which I can link to a recipe for that as well, it's, it doesn't really braid or anything like that. It's just a loaf. But anyways, for this holiday, we make it round, and this symbolizes the cycle of life. We also dip our bread in honey instead of dipping it in salt the way that we would the rest of the year on other holidays and Shabbat, things like that. The honey is sweet and is symbolizing our desire to have a sweet new year. We also eat apples dipped in honey, again for the wish for a sweet new year. We eat pomegranate seeds, asking that our mitzvot in the coming year be as plentiful as the seeds in pomegranates. I don't know if you have ever opened up a pomegranate before, but they are filled with a lot of seeds. The mitzvot are our laws, so we're basically asking that we follow the laws of the Jewish people over the course of the next year. Because let's be honest, following rules isn't always easy, and who couldn't use a little divine intervention? For the rest of our symbolic foods, we are eating dates, green beans, leeks, the head of a fish, gourd, we like to use an acorn squash, and beets. The symbolism of these foods has to do with their names in Hebrew, and I can put a link in the description box to an article that explains that a little bit better than I could, and we don't need to make the whole video about symbolic foods. All of these symbolic foods are eaten before we start eating the actual meal. Before we dive into our chicken or whatever, we're going through all of these symbolic foods. Yes, it does take a while, and yes, it does become a late night. But it is a really fun meal, it's a really special time, and I love getting to pass these traditions on to our kids. It's also a tradition for us to eat a new food on Rosh Hashanah, something that we haven't had to eat in a long time. So we'll typically go to Central Market and pick up some kind of odd fruit that we don't normally eat, like a dragon fruit or a star fruit, something that we just wouldn't normally buy during the rest of the year. It's also pretty typical to spend the holiday with family and friends. I've always loved this time of year because there's so many holidays right now that there are so many meals that give us so many opportunities to have so many friends over. This year, of course, thank you pandemic, that's not happening. We're kind of taking a step back from having guests over in general, but there are a few very close friends that are kind of like within our circle, and we were very happy to be able to host them for meals. So we had one individual over for lunch on Saturday, and then a family that we're all friends with came over for lunch on Sunday. Such a treat to get to spend time with them, and definitely made it feel more holiday-esque that we had other people at our table besides just us. Like I said, we've been social with them kind of throughout this whole pandemic situation. They're like in our circle. So I was just really thrilled to be able to have some guests over, even if it wasn't as many as we normally would have. On Rosh Hashanah, we also have the obligation to hear the shofar. The shofar is a horn made from a ram's horn, and we hear it blown about 100 times each day. Here is a shofar. Normally this is done during the services at the synagogue. This year, services are very limited. Not that many people are going. They have multiple times for praying so that there won't be so many people there all together. And we certainly can't have the entire community showing up in this building all crowded next to each other to hear the shofar blown. So our community, as have many other communities across the United States and probably the world, have decided to have the shofar blown at a local park. So that's what my synagogue did this past weekend, is they had everybody meet at the park. I did not go. The introvert in me is kind of loving this stay-at-home thing to an extent. And going to a crowded shul to hear the shofar blown was never quite my favorite thing in the world to do. So we own our own shofar, and my husband knows how to blow it for Rosh Hashanah. There's like a series of certain kinds of shofar blasts that you should hear. Some are long, some are short, and so anyhow, my husband knows how to do this. We have a shofar, so he was able to do that here at home for me. Okay, so now this is fun. Because Rosh Hashanah fell during Shabbat also, from Friday night to Saturday night, we don't play instruments on Shabbat. So we did not blow the shofar on Saturday, we only heard it blown on Sunday. So yeah, just fun fact about this year. So like I did say, normally on Rosh Hashanah, you have everybody there at the synagogue going to services. Because of the pandemic, it's limited. A lot of people aren't going. A lot of people are just gonna pray at home. And like I said, as an introvert, this doesn't super hurt my feelings. Now, even though I didn't go to the services at the synagogue, I did pray at home. I enlisted the help of my husband to get the kids totally away from me so that I could have some uninterrupted time to pray. Normally during the week, I'm waking up early so that I can pray. On the holiday, I wanted to sleep in, till like 7. So yeah, all the kids were awake, all that, but my husband helped keep them occupied so that I could have uninterrupted time to pray. Now, on Rosh Hashanah, the prayers are longer. We actually have a whole special book that I just used for this one day. So I use this book, which is my Maksor, which means that it is a prayer book specifically to be used on just one holiday. This is my prayer book for Rosh Hashanah. I have a whole set for each of the major holidays. I have my own book. So anyways, this is what I used to pray this past weekend. But anyways, like I said, I did get time to pray, which was super awesome. And like I said, the prayers are a little bit longer. We're asking for a few more things. In general, we spend a lot of time asking God to give us a year of peace, prosperity, and blessing. Overall, I have to say that this holiday was a lot of fun despite the pandemic. I was definitely nervous kind of leading all the way up to this holiday time, wondering what was it gonna look like during the pandemic? Was it gonna be lonely? Was it gonna not feel very festive or like a holiday? But I gotta say, it turned out just fine. It was fabulous to spend time with our friends. It was the best to have 2 days straight of amazing quality family time. I loved having no distractions of work or social media for either my husband or from myself. It was great to have the kids not asking for an iPad to watch TV for 2 days. And we just had so much fun together. We went on family walks together. We read Harry Potter. That's our current read aloud we're reading for fun. So we read Harry Potter together out loud. We enjoyed 3 meals a day together as a family, 2 of which were just our family, which was so special. Normally, breakfast is usually kind of as you wake up, and dinner is, I don't know, that usually varies too, because my husband often gets home later than we are willing to eat because children. The food was delicious, the time in prayer was meaningful, and of course, passing down our family traditions to our children through actually doing them is something so special indeed. So that was my Rosh Hashanah. I hope that answered any questions that you guys have about Rosh Hashanah. I hope you enjoyed those insights into how we spent the holiday this year in particular during the pandemic. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below, or just any general comments. I would love to connect with you guys. I love our conversations down there. So please drop me a note, just say hey, whatever. I'd love to connect and get the conversation going. Okay, so that's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed already, please go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell so that you get all of your notifications. Both of these are really small things, but they definitely help me out a lot, and I truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I love having you guys all here. So thanks again for watching, especially all the way here to the end. I hope you all have a great rest of your day and a fabulous new year, a Shana Tova. And I will see you in my next upload.